Good morning, everyone, or afternoon or evening, depending where you are joining us today from. I would like to welcome you all to our today's webinar, which is Discover Easy Platform version 2.3. My name is Amit Boutin, and I am the Product Marketing Manager here at Easy Systems. I am part of the product team, but work very closely both with marketing and sales. I'm responsible in staying up to date with the competition, as well as having a clear understanding of the customer and partner needs in order to better inform on product efforts. Before we begin, I would like to go over some housekeeping items. All the participants have been muted to avoid any background noise or disruption. We also encourage you to submit any questions or comments via the Zoom chat box that you may have. We will make sure to address them at the end during our Q&A session. At the end of the webinar, I will send a follow-up email to all registrants with the webinar recording, as well as the slides that I will be presenting here today. You will also get some links to some blog posts on different features that I will be covering today. One last thing before I kick off, I would like to inform you all that Easy Platform version 2.3 was released this past Friday. We also published an in-depth blog post detailing the different features which I will be demoing here today. And with that, before I jump into showcasing and demoing all these features, I do want to quickly go over our product timeline and where we are right now. So as you can see, this is our release cycle for 2018-2019. A few important things to mention concerning the release cycle. As I mentioned before, the first thing is the version 2.3 was released this past Friday, and you can find the release notes, the release blog post, and the ability to download this version all online. I will also be providing links to this at the end of the presentation, and it will all be mailed to you all at the end. The second thing that is important to note that we already started planning and working on is our version 2.4 release. This is a long-term supported release, and we expect to support it anywhere from 2022 till 2024. The last thing that I want to mention about this release cycle is that similar to the previous release cycle, for the upcoming release cycle, we're expecting to have 3 fast-track releases and 1 long-term supported release. So that is about all about the release cycle. I am now very happy to introduce the new features that will be delivered with version 2.3. The way that I'm going to be presenting this, I will first give a really brief overview of each feature, and then I will go on to demo the different features. So that is about the format that we'll have today. So the first feature that we're really excited to feature is the return of our form builder. As you guys may recall, the form builder was not part of version 2.2. We decided to really take time to improve the interface and make the ability of customizing forms more extendable and easy to use. We really decided this time around to change a little the approach of the form builder. We decided to allow editors to create forms outside the page and be able to reuse them anywhere on the website. The form builder is completely decoupled from the page builder, unlike in the past when it was part of the landing page manager. We also decided to embrace Easy's content repository and build forms on top of the field type. Developers will be happy to learn that they can easily extend the form by adding new fields. But on the other hand, editors will be able to use the forms in different locations. Some of the immediate benefits are that users can easily translate forms in different languages and restore previous versions. Two other things that I would like to note. First of all, you can create a form also as a content type, and you can still embed it in different content items, whether it be articles or blogs. We also there is also that similar capability of managing form submissions. So there is a tab included where all the forms are submitted. You can review the submissions, you can download them, or even delete them. Last but not least, in version 2.3, the form block will not be shipped with version 2.3, but it will be available in version 2.4. So that's a brief overview of the form builder. I'm now gonna quickly demo it to show how you can use the new interface to create a new form and then create a new translation and version. So let me just switch my screen to my instance. Share. Okay. So one thing I want to note is that we created a form tab, and we really recommend that when you create a form that we suggest that you store all the forms in this folder in this folder just for organization, but in no way are you limited to that. You can create forms wherever you want, store wherever you want in the content repository, embed them wherever you want. It's really according to what your project needs are. So creating a form is really simple. As I mentioned before, it is a content type this time around. So you can see me creating, and this is the new form builder interface. It's very easy to use. We really want to improve the editorial experience. All you have to do is really just drag and drop different fields and then just populate them. So here I'm just gonna create a really quick newsletter form. You have the single item, email, and the submit button. Let me just really populate. So I want first name, sorry for my misspelling. We have email. And then you can really decide where you would like to, where would you like it to be redirected? So you have three options. You can either redirect it to a different content item, maybe an article or blog, to a certain website, which can be, for example, easy.no, or just show a message that you decide on. So I'm going to decide on showing a message. It'll just be a short thank you message. And there you go. Your form has just been created. Now, one thing that some of the feedback that we got was, that it required sometimes too many clicks to create the form. So we really wanted to reduce the amounts of clicks that is required. This form, you just click the back button and the form is already created. So I forgot to give this one title. Here we go. And there you go. This is your form. You just publish it, and the form has been created. Now, because this is a content type, you really get to leverage all these other capabilities that come with the content type. So translation, relations, locations, and versions. And here you can see I can quickly create a different translation for this form. So let's say I want to create it in French. So it will take all the fields I created. It will be the exact same form, but it will be in a different translation. And let's say in French, it's lettre de formation. And I'm just going to change the title, but you can also edit all the, all the other fields and translate them to French. I'm not going to do that right now, just to save time, but you get the point. So then I will publish this. And if you go to as you can see, I'm in the View tab, you can switch between the French and the English translation. So if I want to switch to the French, here you go. You have the French translation form. The second thing that you can do is locations. I can replicate and reuse this form in different locations very quickly. So I'm just going to create this form really quickly in the home page. Well, instead of in the forms, and there you go. Here it shows, and here I can easily manage and see where all my where this form is created in other locations. So here it's in the form folder as well as in the home. Now I also said that you can also manage your submissions. So I already created a form beforehand just to save some time, and I'll already go quickly to it and show you when I submit a form, the different information that you can collect and how you can actually review it. So I created a newsletter form, and here I'll do one right now. Let's say so I got the thank you message, and then you can see in the submissions, I've submitted a few before. Let me refresh this. And there you go. These are all the different form submissions that have been collected. If you want to really review specific information that was collected by a certain form, you can easily do that. This is everything all the fields that were populated and collected. And you can also download the form or delete it. Another important thing to note is that in the future, we will be coming out with some GDPR capabilities. So to allow you guys to be more compliant with GDPR concerning the form builder. So that really covers everything about the form builder. The next set of features that I want to cover, let me just switch back to my slides. One sec. Pertains to the different content scheduling features. Now, the scheduling features is really comprised of 3 different features. 2 of them are not new. It's something that we brought back and you guys may remember, and another new one that we'll be introducing. The first one I want to cover is the content scheduling scheduler block. So we dedicate a lot of resources and time to improve the managing of content scheduling, and therefore we decided to, compared to 2.2 where this wasn't available, we're bringing this one back. And what this actually allows people to do, users to do, is actually to plan and schedule when a number of items will appear on the website. Editors can also then proceed to preview how the collection of content will appear by using the timeline feature, which I will touch upon momentarily. Functionality-wise, the block is very similar to what you may recall from the past. However, we did add a few capabilities, which I will showcase in a few minutes, such as letting the user change the order of the scheduled content or determine the amount that you would like to be shown. So that is really everything pertaining to the content schedule block. The next feature is the timeline. So the timeline is another feature, as you guys may recall. It's not new. We really took time to improve the design and some of its capabilities and bring it back right now in 2.3. What basically allows you, it's a navigation tool which allows editors to see all the events and actions that are scheduled, and you can really then preview the changes that were made to the page and see how the page will look like when these different content items, these different content will be published. One of the things feedback that we received from the community was that pertains to that the timeline used to take a lot of space on the landing page manager. So therefore, now there's a timeline icon, which you guys will see when I demo this, which basically when you select it, the timeline will appear, and when you unselect it, it will disappear, and therefore not disrupting your editorial experience when you're editing the page. So the timeline is a great feature. You can see certain events from a specific date or time. You can use either the calendar view, the timeline view, or look at the event log of all the scheduled events. And I will showcase this momentarily. The last feature, which is new and we're introducing in this release, is the block visibility scheduler. And now, why is this important? So you don't always actually need something sophisticated as the content schedule block. Maybe, for instance, you just want to change something on your page. Maybe you have a campaign running and you just wanted to activate it from a certain date for a certain date and time. So maybe I just want to run a campaign for the upcoming weekend, and then I want this campaign to not be visible. So with a block visibility schedule, you'll be able to do that. So you can actually determine when certain blocks, from what date and time you want certain blocks to be visible and when you want them to be hidden. Another thing to mention is that the block visibility schedule is a feature that will be included in every single block. So whether it be an embed block, a gallery block, you will have this capability to schedule when you would like this block to be visible or not be visible. So that's all about the content scheduling capabilities. And I'm now going to go and demo this. So give me 1 sec. I'll share my screen again of my instance. So here we go. This is my instance of the page builder. It's just loading. Here we go. So first, the content scheduler block. So as you can see, we have the content scheduler block over here. You can easily just drag and drop it onto the page. 1 sec. There we go. And a few things that we've included. You can easily set them, as I mentioned before, you can select the amount of items that you want to be shown. I'll select 3 right now. You have here the content flow that you can see which one would be showing now and which one are expected to be aired later on that you'll select, and I'll show you how it's done. So here, I'll select a few from here. As you can see, something that I want to mention, another capability that I'm going to mention later on, but I can already demonstrate right now, is that we've also made an improvement to the universal discovery widget concerning multi-selection of content items. So as you can see in the past, when you wanted to add a content item, you had to do it separately, and it required a lot of clicks. Now we added an icon, the plus icon, where you can multi-select multiple items and add them very quickly at the same time. So that's another capability that is coming out with version 2.3, and I already wanted to showcase right now. So here, I'll just select today. These will be right now. And then I want to select a few other content items. Boom, 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 boom. And these, let's do in the future at 3 p.m. So we submit. Sec. One thing that I mentioned before is that you can also, it needs to just refresh it for 2 seconds, the ones that should be showing right now. I apologize for that. Let's give it a few moments. Let me publish it really quickly. Maybe I'll do it quicker. One sec. I think I realized what I did. I think I wrote 12 p.m. for a few of the content items, and now they're not. That's why they're not presented right now. So that's what I did. Yes. So here, let me change. For example, we'll do this at My time is now 10:22. There we go. Now it's showing. So let me just change a few other ones. That was the issue. Submit. Perfect. Now, as I mentioned, you can change on the content flow how you would like these items to appear. So as you can see, I can drag, drop them, and move them around. That's concerning the content scheduler. Now, if I want to make, I'm now going to cover the visibility block schedule before I jump into the timeline. So let's say I want to decide that I want the hero banner to not be visible till later on in the week. So I can easily do that. You have this tab, the schedule tab, and as I mentioned before, this is included for every single block. And I can determine that this block will be visible only from Friday till 12 p.m. and then be hidden on the 16th, 12 p.m. So for those 4 days. So when you schedule on the visibility block scheduler that a certain block will be only visible at a certain time, you'll see that you have this gray shade. And this is really to indicate to the editor that this block will not be visible at the current stage for that page, but it will become visible when the time comes. And that's really to not confuse the editor when he's editing the page. So as you can see here, I have the timeline icon that I mentioned before that you can select, and then the timeline will appear, or unselect if I don't want it to appear. And here I can actually see all the actions and the events that are scheduled. So I can either see it on the calendar, and you can see I have here hide block, reveal block. I have here one of the 3 products that I said for the content schedule block that are planned to go live. So I can see it through the calendar view. I can really see it through the timeline. For example, here I can go to the timeline. This was for Patai. Or I can look at the log. And you can really preview how everything will look like. So I can select, let's see the rendering of the page on October 13 at 4 p.m. And here you go. For example, the block is visible now. There's no gray shade, and the reason is because I scheduled it for the 12, if you recall. And here you can see the different content items that I said would be visible on the content scheduler. So that really pertains everything that has to do with the content scheduling capabilities that will be coming out in version 2.3. The next feature that I want to cover is, let me go back to my slides. One sec. Is reusing the new feature is the image asset field type. So this is a new feature that we're introducing in 2.3. It's a little different from the image field that you guys may recall. And the reason that we created this was actually because we realized that it was not possible for an editor to reuse an image once he uploaded to the system by using the image field. This was a limitation both in Easy Publish and Easy Platform. Usually you could work around it by using the relation field type, but that was really very detrimental to the editorial experience. So the new image asset field type actually allows you to do 2 things. One, you can once you upload an image from your local desktop, it will automatically be stored in the media library as a content type. So that means it can already be ready to be reused in different locations in different content items. The second capability that you're able to do is actually select an image from the content repository into the image asset field type. So that was something that previously we're not able to do with the image field. So it's another great addition. It really allows you to use the content repository and reuse images more easily and quickly. So now let me really quickly showcase this capability I already created. Let me share my instance again. Share, let me go back to the screen. Let me go back to the backend. So I already created a new content type, restaurants, just to save time with that has the image asset field type. So as you can see, let's call it Italian. And as you can see, you have the ability to upload the image or select an image from the repository that already exists. So if I upload an image, I just want to show, let me go to my desktop, I have a folder for that. Sec, restaurants, dining. So as you guys may recall, when I upload the image, I said it is automatically stored as a content type in the media library. So to showcase that, as you can see, this is the image I uploaded. And if I click this icon, you can see that it is already stored. This is under the media library, under media images, and I have dining. And now I can easily now reuse this in any other content item or different location that I want. So it is automatically stored. So here, I'll publish this, the Italian restaurant, publish it. Now, if I change that, that image for that content, for that image content type, it will change in all the places in where that image is used throughout the website automatically. So, yeah, so for example, if I now want to create, let's say, let me create now a new content and show you how I can select that same picture, that capability. So I'll just do restaurants. I'll do Spanish. Restaurant. I can select that directly from the content from the media library. Here I have it dining. As you can see, it was already stored. And there you go. The image was already stored and I could select it from the content repository. So that is everything that has to do with the image asset field type. Let me just publish this. The next feature that I would like to go over is personalization block. So the personalization block is also, let me just switch to the side, I apologize. The personalization block is another feature that is making its return in 2.3 after not being included in the 2.2 release. Functionality-wise, it's the same as previously. We didn't really make any changes. We're simply just embracing the new page builder and embedding a few usability improvements. So for those who don't recall, who haven't used this block, basically editors can place into pages personalized content lists delivered by our Easy Personalization, which is our behavior-driven personalization service. So the end user in the end will receive content according to different scenarios that you've dictated in the personalization block. So this is really a few seconds demo of this feature because now a lot has changed. Let me go back to my instance. Sec. So here you go. You see this is the personalization block right here. I can drag and drop it easily. There they go. One sec. Drop it again. Oh, I don't know why I did that, but let's look at it. I apologize. It's a little, maybe something's buggy, but basically you can decide in the scenario, select what type of the amount of content that you want to be viewed, and then it will show. I also have a quick video on it on the slide, so I can go back to that because for some reason it's a little buggy suddenly. So let me do that. So as you can see here, I'm embedding. I can select the scenario, the type of content type that I want to be displayed, the amount, and then once I publish it, it will show the content that is recommended to the end user. So that is everything that has to do with the personalization block. Another feature that we're coming out with in 2.3 is that moving forward, we'll be supporting all time zones. So a lot of things that we heard is that often editors are distributed across different time zones, and in the previous version of Easy Publish and Easy Platform, all the dates and times that are displayed within the tool are actually displaying the server time. This was really annoying because you have to calculate the difference in the time between the server time and the time zone that you are in. So we wanted to improve that. Editors can now easily access their user preferences and select the time zone that they want to be displayed. And then the dates and times will be according to that time zone everywhere, whether it be on the timeline or in the backend. So let me show that really quickly as well. Share, one sec. There we go. We have administrator unit, the interface. I'm going to user settings. And here I can edit the time zone. Let me put Fiji, save, go back, and now you'll see the time zone has changed. I think I just noticed I didn't show you guys. So this is October 6th, but if let me change it now because I didn't show you the time beforehand, so you wouldn't see the difference. So let me do that really quick. So here you see in the details for the home, it's October 6, 2018, 8:40. This is Fiji time. But then if I change back to the time zone I had before, no. You see October 5th, 2018. So we are supporting now all time zones, and we think this will also improve the editorial experience as well. Another feature that I already mentioned pertains to, let me go back to my slides, pertains to the improvement that we made to the universal discovery widget concerning the multi-selection of content items. So let me go back to the slide. As I showed you before, you can also see in the GIF that I created, we added an icon that you can really select items and select multiple items and quickly add them. When before you weren't able to do that, you had to do each one separate. So we reduced the amount of clicks and really improved the editorial experience. So that pertains to that. Last few mentions that I would like to make, small feature improvements that are included in 2.3 is one is a contribution made by our partners NovaActive. So I want to give a shout out and a thank you to our partners NovaActive, who really created a style selector. So there were a few complaints that users weren't able to customize words or block. So with the style selector, editors can now customize and render the block, or also can add an inline, and I'll show it in a second. A few other improvements that we made can have to do with the UI consistency. So we have updated by the ability to the hovering over the menu, it will be highlighted. We also place the breadcrumbs in the same positions to reinforce patterns, which will help actually with the navigation throughout the application. And we also made some improvements in the spacing and the margins of field text. So let me showcase that really quickly, and then I'll just say one last thing about the translation effort, which is crowded, after I showcase these two. So let me do that really quickly. One sec. Here we go. Okay, so for the style selector, as you can see, I can easily highlight. You have here a drop-down tab where I can render it, the block, as you can see, or I can add an inline. One sec, let me do it to a different one. Not complicated. And there you go, you can add an inline. Let me just publish this, for example. Me out, one sec. And then for the UI consistency, as I shown, we have the hovering and improved the breadcrumbs throughout. For the translation effort, that I want to say, really thank you to the whole community, whoever has contributed to this effort. If you guys recall, in 2.2, we started an effort to translate Easy Platform. We've added 18 translations that a few of them are in the process of being merged. Let me share my slides again. Have been merged. But if you do want also to take part of this effort, then you have the link right here through Crowdin, which is a service that we're using to get this effort done. So please, if you'd like, feel free to contribute. If you have contributed, thank you so much. We really appreciate all the help that you guys have done so far. Just to summarize it up before I pass it on to Roland, who's the Chief Product Officer at Easy, to give some updates. Is, as I mentioned before, the release notes are out. You can find the link. There's the release blog post also available, and all this I will share with you guys via email at the end of the presentation with the recording. So what to expect next? I will now give the floor to Roland, who will give some product roadmap updates and how you guys can actually also provide feedback concerning the product. Roland, the stage is yours.
Hello, Amit. Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, right, yeah. Thanks, Amit. Thanks a lot for this. We are super proud of version 2.3, actually. And usually, summertime is not like the time for big releases, but this year, I think we made a quite big release. In the meantime, as doing this release, we also changed some of our process and some of the tools we use. So I just wanted to say a few words about 2.4, but also about how to collaborate on roadmap in general, because we are now using a new process where we can involve anybody in the community and value and weight the inputs of every customers or even non-customers, but anybody who has a say into the roadmap. So the best thing is I show you this live. I have a screenshot here, but if you If you stop sharing screen, Amit, I will take the screen. Thank you. So I will go here. This should work fine. I'm currently on easyplatform.com website. This is just an entry point, but you can enter by different places or directly through a new URL. And I will just show you quickly a new tool we use to communicate. The tool is called Product Board. Anybody who is a little bit interested in product management should have a look. It's a really very good tool that covers much more than what I would show today. I just want to show you how with this new tool that is available from easyplatform.com, how you can get insights on what's coming, what came, and how you can provide feedback and eventually rank. So I'm on this product feedback page here, and you will see that here you have different tabs. You have a tab for release 2.3, which is released now, so it's available, you can use it, but we wanted to keep this in case you have feedback on the features which are there. So you will find all the features which have been showcased by Amit there. And you have tabs for future releases, and especially release 2.4, which is an interesting one. I guess it's for you, it's the next step. It's arranged by two sections: Easy Platform, the open source edition, and Easy Platform Enterprise edition. With this tool, you can basically get a quick idea of the main features which we target to ship with 2.4. It's not a commitment, it's not a promise. There's always possibility in a software development cycle that something goes wrong or is delayed, but that's today our target. And you can basically comment on this very simply. So I'm not logged in here, so I'm anonymous, and I will, for instance, speak about a feature which is, let's go, this one is very much requested lately, the rich text block. This is in the page builder, having the ability to use the online editor and rich text full-featured editor to create blocks within pages. So when you click on this as a user, you will get a small description of the feature. Eventually, you will get some links, and you will be able basically to provide feedback. So you can rank this as something critical for your operation. You can tell us something about that. We really only use page builder for all pages. This is a must. And then you basically have to send this to us, and you have to authenticate somehow using an email. So I use my personal email, and you send the feedback. This feedback will come once you confirm. So I will just confirm this right away on my phone. If this should come. Hello. I just need to get the connection right. Here we go. So I will confirm. This is me, and now I can reload this. And automatically, the feedback went to our product our product team and our repository of feedback, and we can then start a discussion around this. On some of those descriptions, you will find links, and you will be able to explore more. Like, for instance, something that has been much requested, bulk move content items in the sub-items widget. If you go there, you see that you have a link to a prototype, so you can not only have a quick idea about the feature and the use case and the problem itself, but you can also launch a prototype and have some hints on how the feature will look. It's a clickable prototype, so you could eventually do things here and see the interface and see the sequence. So we are quite excited about that, because it's a way for anybody who is interested in the future of Easy to chime in and to tell us more about the features. There's also an option here, if I get out of this feature, to provide a feature request, or let's say more feature ID. So if you go there, you will not react to an existing ID, but you will just be able to type a new suggestions for the product. So for instance, I'd like easy platform. Oops, sorry. To make popcorns, and say this is just nice to have. And again, you have to sign this, otherwise it will be too easy to spam us. And again, this is sent to us. So that's something I wanted to show very quickly. That's done. Now for the future, what I invite you is to go into more details about that on the 2.4 roadmap. And I will reload this and explore all the features that we target. I will say a quick word about that. On the Enterprise Edition, it will be actually big. There's not many features, but there's a very big one, which is the publishing workflow, editorial publishing workflow. So this is something we had on the roadmap for a long time, and this will make its return to Easy Platform for sure. We want to make a first step with 2.4 with a first version of this editorial publishing workflow. We will bring the rich text block to the page builder, as I mentioned, and then we have additional features in regards to scheduling and collaboration around calendars, so bulk reschedule of events, and a calendar view of scheduled publishing events as well. So that's about it for the open source edition. For the Enterprise Edition, there's a lot. Actually, no, that's about it for the Enterprise Edition, forgive me. For the open source edition, there's a lot, and a lot is about the online editor. So we have a bunch of features to improve the online editor, both for editors and developers, to be able to create better custom tags, but to also be able to create better content within the online editor, things such as inline tags, inline elements, nested tags, clickable images, and so on. Some of the things are really things that should already be here. Some of the things are more advanced. So you can navigate and look at all those things. And then we have simple things such as bulk delete and bulk move in the sub-item widgets. We have additional things such as being able to assign sections to subtree, to translate content types, to add some filters to the search, to add some user preferences to the admin UI. We saw the user preference of the time, the user time. Now we also want to bring the user preference for the language. And then one which is very important, we want to finalize the implementation of very granular permission control within the interface so that the user experience is better. So we will implement user permission in admin UI for content create, edit, and translate. So in a nutshell, that's what I wanted to bring here. It's a new tool, new way for us to collect feedback. If you're interested, please jump in on this tool and provide us with some valuable feedback. We can also take some feedback right now using the Q&A. So Amit, I think I will give you back the mic and give you back the screen if you want to wrap up.
Yes, thank you, Roland, for that. I will read out some, let me just share my slide again. So that covers everything for version 2.3. We will now open it up to questions. Please feel free to submit it right now in the Q&A. I am going to read, we did get a few questions in the Q&A, but I'm going to read them. And Roland, if you could just repeat your answer. I did see you answer them, but for the people who couldn't join today, they can't see these answers. So I'm going to read out the questions, and we'll go one by one. And I see we're getting a few more. So we'll dedicate some time. We have some time, so we'll dedicate some time to questions right now. So one question that we received, can you search images when selecting them? I can just read out your answer, or
no, I can go. Amit, that's fine. This question was about the image asset field type. So when you create an image field, and instead of uploading a new image, you want to reuse an image from the media library. you basically open up what we call the Universal Discovery widget, and with this tool, you can access the search. You can also, of course, browse the tree, but you can definitely search. You can also use bookmarks if beforehand you identified the images you wanted to use. So definitely, yes, you can search. And also note that in the future, we would like to expand this feature with having the ability to, if you would upload a new image and not select an image from the media library, we would like to detect if ever the image you're uploading is already in the system, so that we could suggest you to use the one which is already in the media library instead of creating an additional copy of the asset.
Thank you, Roland. The second question is regarding the new asset field type. Is it possible to define a default location where the image objects will be stored?
So yes, the answer is yes. By default, the way it ships today is storing images in the media library under media/images, or I think that's what you showed. It's also storing images in content items based on the image content type. But as a matter of fact, there are many projects which might not use this content type and which might not use the media library this way. So when you do the configuration of the asset field type, you can define where you would like to store in the tree, in the repository. You can also decide on which content type to use. It might be that you don't use image content type, but you use photo content type or like media content type. As long as in the targeted content type there is an image field, that's good.
Okay, the third question that we have, scheduled feature uses the server time zone.
So like all the operation in the system when it comes to, for instance, have a new content item being revealed or being hidden, all the operations are triggered and based on server time. However, I'm not sure what the question was, but for the user, all the operations that are visible in the interface will fit the time zone that he decides in his user preferences.
Okay, and last question, unless we get a few other ones. Can scheduled content be created through the API, such as product launches? It is a pain to enable 30+ product objects to active manually before business hours or during the weekend, such as Sunday evenings.
So as of today, there's no API that I am aware of that is designed to be public and to be used. There might be actually, as we are open source, that's also the beauty of it. You might find that there's an API, but we didn't work yet on making an API, and even less a remote API, a REST endpoint for that. It's quite a logical follow-up stories and follow-up feature for the product. So we definitely at some point would like to do something like this. When it comes to this specific use case that you mentioned about scheduling, like the publishing of, or let's say the display of different content items, I also want to bring that this is not for the content scheduler block, but more for the future, for the publishing the future feature. We will bring probably with 2.4, and it's in the roadmap, the ability to do bulk scheduling and bulk rescheduling. So selecting different content items, like typically a product launch, you will have a product sheet, some media assets, a gallery, and maybe a PR, and then scheduling this once for all. But this is not based on the content scheduler block. This is based on future publishing.
Thank you, Ron. So I think that wraps up, also due to time, I think that wraps up all the questions. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out either to our product team, or you can also email me. The emails are provided.
Yeah. You have a last question, Amit. I just see it popping about the back office, and if we can change the navigation URL in the content to use the alias.
I don't.
It's because it's open.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah, so one last question. I apologize, I didn't see that. In the back office, is it possible to change the navigation URLs in the content to use the alias?
Well, technically it should be possible because now admin UI, the application is basically based on Symfony and on RCMS framework itself. So, but admin UI is not developed like this for now. We have this in the backlog for the future, but for now we basically use the URL that you can see for now.
Okay. Okay, so thank you so much, you guys, for attending today's webinar. Again, if you have any feedback, please reach out either to the product team or me. As I mentioned before, all the features that we showed today are all part of the 2.3 release, which was released this past Friday. I will be sending a follow-up email with the webinar recording to all registrants. It will also include links to blog posts that cover some of these features. And you'll also have, I will also make sure to share the slide deck that was included in today's presentation. And with that, we're exactly on the 60-minute mark, so it's perfect. So thank you very much for you guys joining, and please stay tuned for any updates that we may have in the future. Thank you very much.